Hello everyone, how you guys doing today? In this gameplay you're looking at right here is an old Nintendo 64 game called Body Harvest. And I've just been in the mood to go back to some old Nintendo 64 games. And this is one of the games that I used to play when I was little. And I'm not going to even lie, it took me a while to adjust because once you get used to holding a controller with dual analog sticks, it's like switching back to a style of gaming where it was just one analog stick and you can't really roam the camera around freely like you can nowadays. It was like I found myself thinking, like, how in the world did I used to play the Nintendo 64 back then? Because I'm finding it very difficult. So in this gameplay, it took me a while to adjust to things, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. But anyways, this isn't about the gameplay though. I wanted to talk about a topic. There's this guy on YouTube that I recently found. I'll put a link in the description to his channel, but he does things like top 10 conspiracy theories, top 10 video game theories, just a lot of top 10 things, and a lot of them are really, really interesting, and it was enough to make me subscribe to his channel. But anyways, it was one thing he mentioned. It was his top 10 weirdest coincidences in history. And this particular story stuck out to me because it was about the Titanic. And when I was younger, I was so interested in the Titanic. Like, I would do so much research on it. I would love to watch the shows of them going underwater and looking at the ruins of the ship. And I would just, I did a project on it in school. When I first found out about it, I was in like grammar school. I don't remember what grade I was in. I think maybe third. And from that point on, I found the story to be really interesting. So I just was really interested in it. But in the YouTube video, the guy mentioned, and this is my first time hearing about this, that there was a novel called Futility written 14 years prior to the events of Titanic. And the thing was, it was basically foretelling the whole Titanic incident in the novel. And it was just a lot of things that were eerily similar to the actual event that happened. For one, in the story, the ship was called the Titan. So that's one thing. So the Titan, the Titanic, that's one similarity. Another one was they both had the little 3 propellers sticking on top of the ship. In his novel, he described the ship as looking like that. It was supposed to be unsinkable in the story, just like in real life, the Titanic was supposed to be this unsinkable ship. And in the novel, the ship was almost exactly the same size as the Titanic, 800 feet, 75,000 tons, and stuff like that. And this was all in his story. And also too, in the story, the Titan ship could go at a speed of 25 knots, and the Titanic was 22.5 knots fast. And another similarity was the amount of passengers that was on the ship. 3,000 people were on the Titanic, 3,000 people were on the Titan. And also a shortage of lifeboats. That in the Titanic there was a shortage of lifeboats, and that's because they were expecting the ship to not sink, so whatever, they had the minimum. And the same exact thing in the book with the Titan. And not everyone got to escape because there wasn't enough lifeboats for everybody. And also, the ship got hit with by an iceberg northeast, I believe. Yeah, north of the Atlantic. And in the story, it happened on the night of April, on an April night, basically, is what it said, in the North Atlantic. 400 nautical miles from Newfoundland. And that's the same exact, on a night of April 14th, 1912, in the North Atlantic, 400 nautical miles away from Newfoundland. That's when the Titanic sank. Just like in the story, in the novel, 14 years prior, that's when the Titan sank. So it's pretty weird how also, too, another thing, in the actual story, it says 25,000 passengers drowned, but in Titanic, 22,000 passengers, drowned, basically. So there was a lot of similarities. It's like I just pictured it as the guy who wrote the novel was just, he saw into the future without even really realizing it. Maybe he knew, maybe he didn't, but in my opinion, I kind of think he kind of like, because sometimes we sit back and we'll have like an image or a thought or something in our mind or an idea, and then we might write about it or talk about it, and little do we know, we probably might have seen something that is supposed to happen later and don't even know about it. I think he was just trying to think of an idea of a story to write, and he kind of something just came to him, and he was like, this is a good idea. And with ideas, we kind of like imagine it in our minds, like yeah, and that's probably what was happening here. I mean, that's what I personally think, but that's just my opinion, of course. But yeah, I found it really interesting. He also had a lot of other things he was talking about too that were also interesting. And yeah, I mean, I'll give you a link to his channel so you can see for yourself. But it was many other things he had too, like secret societies, the top 10 secret societies, or like or 10 conspiracy theories that turned out to be true. He does things like that. So I don't know if you guys might find this interesting, you might not, who knows. But when I'm bored, or if I'm like sitting around waiting on something, I could probably just go to his channel and watch a couple of videos or let the time pass or something like that. It's something interesting to watch. So if you guys are interested, you can go ahead and check the channel out. You might find things, or you might actually learn something that you never knew. Or you might end up being inspired to actually go and start researching stuff randomly. Because that's just what I do. Sometimes when I'm bored, I just start looking things up for no reason. So yeah. Anyways, though, I hope you guys enjoyed this and have a nice day.